DeCurran Moore, the top 5 wide receiver, the top wide receiver overall.
He's a complete stud. He's the complete and total package.
DeCurran Moore with another great catch.
Another great get for them is Brandon Finney, their cornerback, really long and fluid, 6'2", so that's college starting size at that cornerback position.
And it's Brandon Finney, the freshman, touchdown.
Here's a big run for Jordan Davison. Davis is into space. He's across midfield. Swipes a man away, fighting his way. D.L. Hill, nothing but taillights. Touchdown Ducks.
So much talent. It is understandable why Oregon is doing so well. And this class is really, really good. Yeah, they lived up to that hype, too. I mean, the true freshmen on Oregon's roster this year who made major impacts, these numbers are really impressive for a normal player, let alone someone who just a few months ago was worrying about prom. I mean, it's what they do, though, in Eugene. They bring in freshmen who are making immediate impacts, and we heard you guys talk about some of those guys last year. Let's talk about some of the guys that they're bringing in this year. They have a top 10 ranked class, number 2 overall as it stands right now. Howard, there's an edge player that has caught your eye, Anthony Jones. How come?
Really talented young man. When you start thinking about guys that can come off the edge and have an immediate impact, these are players that are twitchy, can get around, can bend, can play up and down the line of scrimmage. Really does a great job of using his hands and being able to keep offensive linemen off of them. You see the violent punch right there, and then the tackle. This is big time. And you talk about being able to contribute early. These are some of the attributes you have to be able to do it. And actually being able to just run the way he does is outstanding. Jet Washington, you guys know how I feel about these 6'4", 6'5" safeties. Well, this one is 6'5". And you talk about playing in the middle of the field. Well, I would like to bring him down to the line of scrimmage and be able to make plays. You see his ability to come up and hit, diagnose, covers a lot of ground. To me, really becomes a chess piece when you have the physical tools that this young man has to really dictate what offenses can do, being down by the line of scrimmage. But he's outstanding when he's playing in the secondary. You see his ability to return the ball at 6'5". Playing in the secondary is outstanding.
Well, the safety position is secure for years to come with Oregon because they got another good one in safety, Devin Jackson. He's really just a Swiss Army knife. He's fluid and comfortable in coverage down the field. He can play post-high safety, also physical coming downhill. You see the hands, the ability to make an interception right on the sideline and toe tap. He's also a physical box safety. He's a guy that I think could come down and play that additional linebacker, similar to what we've seen with a guy like Dylan Thieneman. Jalen Lott is a 5-star, and I wrote down, this guy is Oregon. Competed in the high jump and long jump back in Texas. You see that speed and twitch show up consistently on film, but he's also got these ball skills. Sometimes with the track guy, there's speed, but they're only speed, but he's clearly comfortable in contested catch situations. Playmaker, if you let him get out into the middle of the field, he is liable to score from anywhere.
And another contested catch guy here. How about Kendra Harrison at 6'7", 243 pounds. And we like to say forward playing tight end, but this guy actually had 6 to 10 major college basketball offers, averaged a double-double. You can move him all over the formation. Huge mismatch. This is what Darnell Washington looked like in high school. I don't know if Kendra is going to get to 311 pounds, but very similar profiles coming out of high school. One of the best guys in the class. Emmanuel Iannacho, huge win on the recruiting trail, and a huge guy in general at 6'6.5", 345 pounds. Recruited by some schools as a tackle. I think the path to immediate playing time for him might be guard. Look for him to possibly be able to get on the field next year. This was a big flip in the middle of the cycle. Braylon Hodge was committed to Michigan State. A recruiting battle ensued. He had 4, 5, 6 different schools trying to flip him. Oregon gets it done. Extremely athletic linebacker, can play in space, never has to come off the field, can drop into coverage. Really, really good nose for the ball. It played at a really, really good program there in Colorado, but that was a good win during the fall for the Ducks.
And so Oregon, once again, as good a class as you can get, number 2 in the country. No surprise, that's what Dan Lanning does. They're coming off an 11-win season, which is going to be in the college football playoff, and the 5-star commits in this group. There's an awful lot of them. All these guys are some of the highest-ranked players in the country that are heading to play for Dan Lanning. And and a head coach, and his 4th year in Eugene, is good enough to join us to talk about things. Dan, thanks for being here with us. Let me start things off with a guy that Alan was just talking about, Emmanuel Iheanacho, the offensive lineman. You told me in previous years you really like to dig in and start your recruiting in the trenches. Why was this guy so important?
Well, it starts with the player. You meet him in person, you got to do a double take. He's huge. And, obviously unbelievable athletic ability, but you fall in love with the person. And this is our kind of guy in every way. Super intelligent, strives to be great. Did a great job there at Georgetown Prep, a school that did an unbelievable job helping prepare him, for his future. Has some great coaches around him. But he just moves bodies, and he has a desire to be great. Like I said, he's a deep thinker. And he has some of those God-given talents that a lot of people don't have. So an awesome get for us.
Again, the big story last year was DeCorian Moore, star wide receiver, going to you. What about the wide receivers in this group? They're highly regarded as well, guys like Jalen Lott and Messiah Hampton.
Yeah, we've got some unbelievable ones coming in, and even got a guy coming back that we signed before in Gatlin Bear that's now gets to actually be a part of this class and gets to be a part of this team, after he finished his mission. So I'm really excited about all these guys. They have great speed, catch radius is big. They're able to get open. They do a lot for their teams. A lot of them are like Swiss Army knives. They're going to be on the field, not just offensively, but in special teams play. These guys provide a lot of juice for us outside and allow us to really open things up on offense.
You've had great success at Oregon bringing in transfer QBs, but in this class, you're bringing in a freshman that caught your eye, Bryson Beaver. What stands out about him?
Yeah, Bryson can spin it, and he's a guy that gained a lot of praise in the offseason for what he was doing this summer. We got to see this guy work out firsthand, and the way he had control of the ball was really impressive. Has great touch. Obviously did some great things for his team this past year, and then another great example of a guy that's a great family, has a great family, and that for me is a huge win. When you meet people that are surrounded by great people, they turn into great players and great people for your program.
Running back Tredarian Ball seems like he's got a high ceiling.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, a guy that can do a lot of things. He's obviously can carry the rock and has that stop and go burst that you look for in backs. But he's also great in the slot, can catch the ball out of the backfield, has special teams value. A guy that we've been recruiting for a really long time. Coach Samples did an unbelievable job with him, and strong relationship guy. The kind of guy you just pick up the phone and you're FaceTiming and don't even realize what you're talking about because you just enjoy being on the phone with this kid. But really excited about what he's going to be able to do for us here.
Dan, there's an interesting trend. If I look at the top 8 highest-ranked players that you have, here's where they're from. Maryland, North Carolina, Texas, Alabama, Nevada, California, Oregon. That's 8 guys from 8 different states across the nation. What's that say to you?
Well, I just think it speaks to the brand of Oregon. This place is always been a place that it's a worldwide brand. And for us, we always talk to players about not picking, most convenient, pick best. And these are all guys that were willing to say, I see the best opportunity for me here at Oregon. They see a place that they want to be a part of. They see the innovation. And all these guys grew up, and this was a dream school for a lot of them. The opportunity to play at a place like this and a stage like this, and now to get to be in a conference like the Big Ten. It's really opened up some doors for us to be able to get elite players like these guys.
Dan, away from signing day for a second, what's the remainder of this week going to be like for you? There's no game for you to get ready for on Saturday, but you will find out on Sunday you're heading off to the playoffs. So what's your week going to look like?
Well, we'll do some football. We're doing a lot of meetings with our current players. But more than anything, we get to spend a little bit of time with my family, which I'm really excited about. Hit that reset button right before we hop into this opportunity. That's coming up for us that we're all really excited about. But I think this gives a time for a little bit of recovery for everybody, a time to solidify this class that we have, help piece together and give our guys some time in the weight room, some time in recovery, and then be able to hit the ground running next week as we figure out who we're playing.
Dan Lanning, the number 2 overall class in the country. Congratulations. Thanks for giving us some of your time, man.
Appreciate you guys. Have a great one.
From Oregon, we head to Champaign, and the Fighting Illini are bringing in an awful lot. They've got defensive back depth. They've got 5 of the top 20 players from the state of Illinois. This is one of the highest-ranked classes they have brought in the modern era. And Brett Bielema joins us to talk about the orange and blue. Brett, thanks for joining us. You look at your last 2 years in Champaign. You won 18 games combined. That is tied for the most in a 2-year span in program history. How have you noticed the recent on-field success having an impact on your ability to recruit?
Without a question, Mike. By the time we got about a month into last year, after the win at against South Carolina bowl game, I could feel the whole momentum. I could feel things changing. We've also done some things here at the University of Illinois. My administration is to put us in an environment where we've never been before, with from resources to buildings to, obviously the record speaks for itself, but it's been a big uptake. And I think back to, when I was at Wisconsin, had it rolling 3 straight Big Ten championships, 10, 11, and 12. We weren't anywhere close to where I am now as far as being able to recruit, get in on top prospects, and obviously land them.
I know that you love talking about talented kids from the Chicagoland area. Let me ask you about wide receiver Nasir Rankin, one of the top players in the state of Illinois.
Yeah, Nas, very special player from Morgan Park. Ironically, the same high school that Io went to. And when we first started recruiting Nas, I talked to Brad Underwood and, spoke of, when Io came here, like the way he changed the trajectory of Illinois basketball program. I think this kid has some of these same tributes. Very quick feet, very gifted, extremely good competitor. I think a kid that really, once he gets the ball in his hands, is dynamic as all get out. Great mom and dad, great environment, and a very proud Chicago kid. I mean, he was literally recruited by everybody in the country, and thankfully he chose us, and has really been a staple of our program for a long time.
Yeah, Io DeSumo, pretty talented fella to be coming from the same place for Nas. A couple from the St. Louis area as well, Jacob Eberhardt and Nick Hankins. What stands out about those two?
Two very dynamic players. They're both going to start on defense for us, but I would also tell you my offensive coaches lobby for them every day when we watch any film or we have a meeting about them. Jacob is a little longer, more of a safety type, very, very dynamic player. His dad actually played here and has a great storyline to his name and how he came to be a part of our program now going forward. But Jacob just lost last week in the semis in the Illinois State playoffs. So a really, really talented player that we're excited to get here as well. And then Hankins, Nick is a dynamic. Now he's a perimeter corner. Jacob will be inside safety and a dynamic player, but Nick will be a corner to star. Very, very strong, powerful. I can't tell you how many people, I've been, doing this for a long time, so I know a lot of former players, coaches, people I played with at Iowa that are living in the St. Louis area. I'd get the most random text on Friday nights or Saturday. Hey, watch Hankins last night. Holy cow, right? Just very dynamic player, kick returner, punt returner. But as good as both of those players are right now, I think the mind they have been built, the heart that they possess, are going to put them at a different level for us on the playing field.
Fans are always curious at potential starting quarterbacks down the line. What do you see in Michael Clayton?
Yeah, he's everybody likes the pretty boys, right? They like those quarterbacks and what they bring. Michael was actually the first commitment of our class. Kind of a neat story. Lived down in Orlando, built a great relationship with him, and we knew we were getting close and felt good about it. And we were in the season. We were informed that Michael's family wanted to get together with us on Zoom. So when we do Zooms, I go to my Zoom room here. I apologize. I just got out of an executive steam. I've been in here early morning grinding and need a little perk me up. But we usually do Zooms when I'm in my office, Coach Lundy's in his office, Coach Sikowski's in his office. And they're like, no, the family wants you guys all together on Zoom. I'm like, well, can we tell the family what Zoom means? You don't have to be in the same room, right? So we're sitting down, and literally from the office right next to us, walk through the door, walk Michael and his entire family, mom and dad. And just in all my years of doing it, I never had a recruit surprise me by visiting me to give me a commitment here in Champaign. So it was really an awesome moment, and I think set the stage for something really special.
Speaking of really special, I understand there's someone joining your program that not everybody's aware of. Are we ready to announce this?
Yeah, very excited. Champ Smith, a young man from Vero Beach, Florida, kind of went through a recruiting process. He was committed earlier to another Big Ten school. We just stayed with him, stayed true to who we are. A really dynamic, big player, explosive. I give him a little heat. He scored a couple touchdowns now at running back, so he may think he's a running back now. But craziness. I was watching a high school game in the 90s and saw a guy on the opposing team that I was scouting have like 18 tackles. Well, that just happened to be his dad, who I followed up a phone call and tried to recruit him. And lo and behold, now almost 25 years later, I recruited his son, and that memory still lived with him. And why it's made it special to be a part of Illinois. So super excited about Champ. Very dynamic, explosive player. We'll play him on the offensive line. A guy that we feel that can come in and play right away.
Congratulations, Brett Bielema, one of the highest-ranked classes Illinois has had in the modern era. Have a great holiday, man.
Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate it. ILL.
Yeah, that state of ILL is something Brett has said from the second he got hired. It's really important we try to get the best players, which granted, all coaches say that for that state. But that's something that's been a little challenging for head coaches at Illinois to do. Nasir Ranking is a guy he got and he's thrilled about.
And Mike, here's the importance of getting a player like him. And he mentioned it in his comments that when they start to win football games and they get consistency, guys, when they come in and try to recruit elite athletes like this, Illinois hasn't been able to win those matchups. To be able to hold this commitment as long as they were able to do it was outstanding, because this young man is a difference maker. He's also a basketball player, so when he goes up to high point a ball, you know he's going to come down with it. Just an electrifying player that can make so many plays that will change that offense for him. Cam Thomas, when you start to think about what it takes to play the linebacker position and to be in the midst of the front seven, this is a young man that's going to develop into that. Don't think he's ready necessarily right now to make that step, but I think he's going to do a tremendous job in development in the weight room and understand how to play inside this system.
Coach Bielema talked about Nick Hankins. I wasn't one of the guys texting him on Friday nights, but I could have been, because we really love Nick Hankins. Got a big bump as a senior, played both ways, touched the ball on special teams a little bit. I think not only one of the best guys in the class, I think he's one of the best guys coming into the entire conference. He is an absolute difference maker. You see him here jumping around. He did that quite a bit. Super instinctive along with his athleticism. Jacob Eberhardt comes from a very important St. Louis area. Dad played at Illinois, but it wasn't a slam dunk. A lot of other schools recruited him. He's this big jumbo athlete type guy who can play all over the field. Played wide receiver. Some schools thought he might be a linebacker. Some schools thought he might be an edge. Illinois is going to play him as a safety initially and look at Matthew Bailey as a blueprint for what they may do with Jacob Eberhardt.
Well, one thing about Brett Bielema, he loves and values great offensive line play, and that's what he got in Kai Pritchard. He's a 4-star out of New Jersey, 6'5", 290 pounds, also played basketball. I love his footwork. A lot of offensive line prospects in high school, they just lean on you. They use their size advantage to win, but Pritchard understands the value of having good feet, good feel, and has the athleticism to succeed at the second level. Also need good defensive linemen, and they got a good one in Parker Krim, a 3-star edge out of Ohio. Extremely productive career, had over 100 tackles and 12 sacks as a junior. That broke the school record. Also had 3 forced fumbles. Some guys just have a knack for punching that ball out. It's rumored that he may play that 4-4-eye position for Illinois. If that's the case, he'll need to add some weight. Right now he's only 235. To move inside, you probably need to get closer to 300, Mike.
You know, big picture, this program, since Brett Bielema took over, it's like exactly on the path that they would have wanted to be. 10 wins last year, 8 with a potential for 9 coming in a bowl game. They've got arguably their highest ranked class in the modern era. This is right on track with what they were hoping it would be.
Yeah, I think they're doing exactly what they set out to do. When you start to be able to lay that foundation, ultimately you have to be able to do that to make sure that you can start to recruit, because this 2027 class in the state of Illinois is going to be elite as well. So when you have that consistency, as you mentioned earlier, you're not going to be able to keep everybody at home, but when you have a program that's gaining traction, that has a great foundation, that has really settled in on who they want to be and understand that, you can start to do a great job recruiting in the state of Illinois.
Illini fans remember that great 2007 signing day they had, some of the big names from that group. This is the highest ranked group they've had since
Juice
that
Williams.
2007. Exactly.
Really is big.
Regis Ben, yep.